And your last name is Olbrich,
Yeah,
right?
Emil Olbrich.
Emil
Yep.
Olbrich.
Take one.
Take one. Here, you know what? Actually, let me make sure.
Look at the camera then?
You can kind of go back and forth between looking at me and looking at the camera. It's just very conversational. So.
Okay.
But step in a little
Yep.
bit more. There we go. Okay. This is Kelly Hill, technology reporter for RCR Wireless News. I'm here today with Emil Olbrich, who is with Signals Research Group. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Now, we're just finishing up the Signals Focus Day here at LTE North America, and you've been moderating the discussions and the panels over the course of the day. I'm wondering if you can kind of give us some of the key trends and key takeaways that you saw developing over the course of the day.
Sure. It's been an adjustment from 2 and 3 years ago, even from last year, when most of the concern was about the signaling flood that all these new LTE providers are going to have. The vendors have addressed that problem. That's no longer an issue. And what was interesting to see was a pivot point this year as most of the vendors that were early on in the diameter routing issues and signaling issues are now saying, hey, we need to virtualize our network appliances. The carriers in the U.S. are really driving this. And AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, all of them were listed as carriers that are really pushing towards network virtualization. So that was the very first thing that we saw, was a big push towards virtualizing the functions that these diameter routers had. The second was interesting, was that the policies that need to be enforced for applications, really they want to do that on a per application basis. So your Facebook applications, your Twitter applications, Snapchat, whatever you're using, they want to be able to enforce policy on that dynamically. And so that'll be very interesting on whether they can do that or not, because historically you've had to set these really strong static policies and saying these enterprise users get this level of service. Now the capability will be dynamic in nature. So you go to a ball game and a lot of people are taking selfies and posting them on Instagram. They can then prioritize that traffic dynamically. And then I think the third that was interesting is that you see some vendors that are coming into play right now that are still trying to find their way. And it seems like they're caught in the mix of, do we go develop a dedicated piece of hardware, or do we go to this NFV kind of software-defined route? And so there are a few vendors that were discussing today their platforms, and it seems like they're at an inflection point trying to determine whether or not the market will allow for that. So those are the big primary drivers that I took away from today.
You know, I thought another interesting point in one of the presentations was that NFV is real. It's happening. The standards might not be complete yet, but people are experimenting with this. They're pushing the envelope on this, and that, we're really moving in that direction, even if the standards haven't been completely set yet.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, ETSI, which is managing the standards for that, is meeting this week, and they're going through that. So a lot of the functionality, being able to take a commercial off-the-shelf platform, a COTS platform from HP or from IBM or any of the Blade servers, and then put your software on that on a hypervisor, almost every single company across the board is at that point right now. Now they start virtualizing their function, taking their code base and making it operate across all those different platforms. That's the exciting part. I think where it gets difficult is this part that they call orchestration. And Oracle gave a great presentation today on it's not just one single orchestration, it's managing all these different network elements and being able to do it effectively. So I think that's probably the next step that we'll see in next year, is talking about the orchestration and trying to get all these piece parts to talk to each other and talk nicely to each other.
Great. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that's it.
You're so nice in your interview.